Robot 64 is a game about running, sprinting, and jumping to get around a vast array of worlds. But what if you couldn't jump? Okay, before I start this video, I just want to mention that I actually didn't record any sound. I tried to mask it as much as possible with my commentary and music, but if the footage seems off, that is why. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, welcome to Robot 64, but I can't jump. First and foremost, what is Robot 64? Robot 64 is a 3D platformer on Roblox, made by C. Kevin that mimics the style of Super Mario 64, where you platform around to get ice creams, instead of stars, to progress and unlock more worlds, so you're finally able to destroy the sun. Now before I start the challenge, we have to go over the rules. I can spin, dive, wall run, and most importantly, ledge climb, as this only requires the use of the E key. Things I cannot do are jump, double jump, long jump, backflip, and wall jump. Wall jumping, like ledge climbing, also only requires the E key, although I banned it because it has jump in the name and it makes this challenge a little more interesting. And finally, I'm allowed to swim upwards and shoot ice creams at the final boss fight, even if it does require the space key because it's not jumping. Also, even though I know that Parrot BT made basically the same video a while ago, I haven't watched the video as of recording for the challenge, and thus I'm going in completely blind. But it's a really good video, so you should go watch it. Also, I'm trying to get as many ice creams as possible, which I'm actually just copying from Parrot BT. Understand? Great. Now let's begin the challenge. I spawn in a big white box, no memories, and a speaker. I hear a voice coming from the speaker. What I do? Completely ignore everything and speed on the tutorial. The tutorial goes pretty much the same as normal, thanks to the one, the only, the amazing ledge climb. Until I reach my first challenge. A wall too tall to run up, expected to chain wall jumps. And in this tutorial, I was already forced to pull up my biggest glitch, corner climbing. You see, when you walk off a wall in Robot 64, there's a weird property that resets all your midair movement, like jumps, spins, and dives. Which makes sense, that's how you chain wall jumps. But if you walk off a wall, instead of jumping off, you can wall run up walls, and combined with spins, you can do this. Alright, one game-breaking bug in, we've completed the tutorial and have entered the hub. Now you may be thinking, it's just the hub. Surely you don't have to use any more glitches. And you'd be right. All you have to do is get one ice cream, which you can just get by spinning. So, hub done. No glitches. Unless you want to get on top of the observatory. See, if you've played before, you'd know that there's an ice cream on top of the hub building. So, how do you get there? You're probably not asking. Do you chain more corner climbs? And although I probably could, I told you the second glitch in this playthrough. Snap shoot. This works when you go up in water and then pause and repeatedly go in and out of snapshot mode. As in snapshot mode, the game saves your momentum and adds onto it without moving the robot, which is named Beepo, by the way. Stack this a couple times, and you can go flying. So, after talking to the sign and getting the ice cream, we are finally starting the game. The always cross your hands sub area is pretty normal jump list, requiring only a few more dives and spins, and a death. The tread to the top of Turtle Top's ice cream is pretty easy, as I can just snap shoot up the hill. But there's a problem. I can't get off the flag unless I jump, and if I'm on the flag, I get just enough height to not collect the ice cream. And if I exit the hub and come back, the ice cream is gone. So, on my first attempt, I had an idea. Token cancel. You see, usually, while an ice cream cutscene is active when it's appearing, you can't move, but by canceling the purchase screen while the cutscene is active, you can. So, with this plan in mind, I was gonna get the ice cream while it was spawning above my head. I waited for the ice cream to spawn, and it didn't work. In shock, I kept holding W, and to my surprise, I actually got the ice cream. I'm pretty sure this is because of token cancel, too, because I did the race in Hecklands and I didn't do token cancel, it didn't work. But there is many variables that I don't understand how this would work. Anyways, it's a huge W in my books, because when trying to couple jump with friends before, I would always get stuck here. After you tread to the top of Turtle Tops went pretty smoothly, as the jetpack at the top of the mountain allowed me to easily get across spinning platforms and catching fireflies in Turtle Tops. Hunting 8 eggs underwater was also super easy, as I can't jump here, only swim. And no, embracing my inner dolphin and leaping out of the water does not count as jumping, despite what you may believe. Beeple Wings in the Sky is also really easy, as it's a jetpack area so you can't jump. The only problem is accidentally landing on this pole if you die, which makes you reset the entire progression on a sub area. Though this could just be avoided with a spin while you respawn. And lastly, climbing the purple tower is sadly not possible, because the wall is just too tall, and because it's in 2D, I cannot do any corner climbing. And with only one impossible ice cream, here is the Turtle Tops overview. Well, I guess it's time to go to... The scoring radical points ice cream is completely normal, as you don't need to jump to get points, so ice cream is just spin to win. The guards before dip ice cream is slightly harder as usual, as you can't jump to juke the guards, but it's still pretty simple as you can outstate the guards. The hungry black hole ice cream is pretty simple at first, but then it causes the problem of the ice cream spawning way too high to get with just a wall run and spin. But after a bit of troubleshooting, I figured out if you do a dive for momentum, and then do a dive kill on this NPC's head, you will bounce. Then you can spin to get the ice cream, no spacebar needed. The up on the chomping dude's ice cream is very easy to get. You just had to corner climb up the wall and grab the ice cream. The Naughty Showdown ice cream is pretty much the same as usual. I just had to dodge and weave and spin to attack Naughty. The Infested Maze ice cream was a little harder than usual. I just had to absolutely break this guard's ankles. Then when I got the end, I just had to learn top-down corner climbing just to get this ice cream. Floating with the flowers started off annoying, requiring me to corner climb up Naughty's resort just to get to the sub area. And when I was in the sub area, I had to time flower jumps to get just enough height when I was spinning. And when I finally finished the flower section, I was met with what will soon to be my reoccurring worst enemy: climbable surfaces. Climbable surfaces, like the flag from Turtle Tops, are surfaces which you can climb on, which seems good for a challenge where my vertical movement is restrained. But it's actually really bad, because the only way to get off of these climbable surfaces is by jumping. And when I can't jump, these surfaces act like a mini soft lock for the challenge. To avoid this rope, all I had to do is corner climb from pillar to pillar until I got to this planet. And this is how far I would get to the sub area. No matter what I tried, no matter how many spins I tried to spam, I just could not get up onto the saucer. And thus, I had to call this ice cream impossible. Here's the overview. Next area is... messing with Old Job is really easy, as it just requires to beat him into a pulp while he begs for mercy, and then he can just grab the ice cream. Racing to the top of the Hecklands was just like Turtle Tops, and I just had to return to hub, then get the ice cream correctly this time. Tricky jumps and dives is impossible. Even with the height from the hill, I can't do it because it's tricky jumps and dives. It was also about this time where I decided to make the most important choice of the run: buying a hat. For those of you who don't know, in Robot 64, there are hats and skins, and using a token at Duncan's Cans, you can basically gamble for a random cosmetic. How do you get these tokens, you didn't ask? Well, you get one on every account, but you can, or used to, be able to get these from the now broke level creator. Nowadays, the only way to get these tokens are from new accounts getting a free one, and Robux. Anyways, since I was using an alt account, I had a free token, and got headphones. So, yeah, hat change is cool, I guess. Getting back to the topic of impossible ice creams, hunting 8 eggs in the Hecklands is impossible, because if you try to get this egg, you get stuck, and going down a dark hallway is impossible because you can't get enough height to reach the sub-area. The Hecklord Showdown is easy and normal, as you don't need to jump to hit Hecklord, even though before this I thought you had to. And lava and water is surprisingly possible. You just have to jump from here to get to the sub area and embrace your inner dolphin to just make this jump. And from there, it was a cakewalk. And with that, I finished the Hecklands with the lowest count of ice cream so far, being just 4 out of 7. But anyways, on to Candy Aquarium was probably the easiest world to do. Who could have guessed that a world all about swimming doesn't really require you to jump? But because it was so trivial, I'm going to speedrun the world starting now. Hunting the eggs in Candy Aquarium, breaking a box with Brentos, Hermit Gluey's problem, and messing with Old Job, the Candy Aquarium version, were all a breeze as they didn't have to leave the water for a single frame. Jumping from grape soda is also easy, using momentum from leaping out of the water, and to add a little spin to it. Making the longest jumps possible is surprisingly not possible, as apparently you can't make the longest jumps possible if you can't jump. Definitely not that at all. In the water chunks, it's the only challenging item in Candy Aquarium, and even then, the only difficult part is corner climbing up this wall to replace the wall jumps expected of you. And time. Oh, here's the overview too. Before we move on to, we need to take a quick detour to the hub to grab the secret of the mirror and through the flames and fire, which I didn't even have to use any weird glitcher / movement for. And then go to for setting up the computer, all you have to do is plug in the computer and boom, ice cream. Rotating a dice block was a little more difficult, having to corner climb up the shelf and grab the dice. But after that, it's simple, except for the fact that this ice cream and filling out homework were both too high to grab normally, so you have to bounce on the bed. Oh, I also did the entirety of playing Beatbo's theme on piano while holding the dice for some reason, but it was relatively easy other than the fact that it was painfully slow. While I was grabbing filling out homework, I also grabbed up on the shelf because I already had to be on the bed anyways. I went to swinging with wires confidently, only to remember that the sub area takes away all of your movement except jumping, so yeah. For hunting 8 eggs in Tiny Hugh's bedroom, I kinda forgot about it, but after watching Parrot BT's video, I was kinda convinced I could do it, and yeah, no. Using the bed was the closest I got, but I just couldn't get enough height. And that's Tiny Hugh's bedroom done. Here's the overview. Next world is starting with on the fan blades. All you have to do is a quick corner climb and then spin to get the ice cream. Above the wall is also another freebie, as I can get it while flying through the sky. Speaking of flying through the sky, I just have to chain corner climb to get to the top of the building, and voila! Since I have the jetpack now, the map opens up and I'm able to get catching fireflies in New Year City, albeit slower than normally. With the jetpack, I'm also able to get racing to the top of New Year City by flying through the flag, pretending to do the token glitch, and wiggling around the pole. Moving on, short jumping around is impossible because it removes all vertical movement except jumping, like swinging around with wires, and corner jumping upwards is also impossible because it requires wall jumping, which I banned. And that's it. On to $36 ice cream. That's how many we got. After going through every world and trying to get every ice cream, I only got 4 more than I needed, but I did it. I beat the game without jumping. Well, not yet. You see, I still have to take out the sun. After dodging projectile after projectile and retaliating back with ice cream, I finally made it to the sun. And although I tried my best to dodge, I kept taking hit after hit. I didn't want to mess this up, but I couldn't tell how damaged the sun was. And after relentlessly weaving through a flurry of stars and shooting ice cream after ice cream, I did it. I did it. I beat Robot 64 without jumping. And after walking through the credits, I flew off into the artificial sun and lived happily ever after. Huh? What's that? You thought I was done there? Well, I said I would try to get all the ice creams. And there's some that I've been hiding from you. You see, Planet Kabobulon isn't just a boss fight, there's also challenge ice cream for every world we visited. And one called Final Home Run, which for dramatic purposes, I have called the 7. First up, Turtle Tops. And oh my god, I can't even do the first jump. Man, I sure hope that isn't a bad omen for the rest of the 7. Next up, Naughty's Resort. And while I can do the slide area and absolutely grind this rail, I'm stuck. On to Hecklands and not the tree again! Candy Aquarium was thankfully possible as I can swim instead of jump. It's still painful to do that challenge though. I can barely do New Near City normally, and especially not in this challenge because it takes away my dive and spin. Tiny Huge Bedroom gave me a break as it's just a slide level like the one from the hub. And then, the final home run. The final test of everything I've learned so far. I corner climbed up the wall and dived over, just caught the platform, but then, I'm stuck. And as I tried the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, but the results stayed the same. I couldn't get past. But in the end, it's okay, because I can finally put the game down and say, I beat Robot 64 without jumping.